One of my favorite sayings as it pertains to starting a new project or business or really just trying to accomplish anything is done is better than perfect. A lot of people it seems like a kind of a positive spin on procrastination where they wait for things to be just right. They want to make sure whatever it is, let's say it's starting a meal prep business. Obviously that's the context that we're going to be discussing in this video. So they want to make sure they have the right pictures and they want to have, the menus perfect, and they want to have weeks and weeks of trying it out with friends and family, getting the recipes spot on and making sure that there's enough selections for everybody and making sure that the brand colors are all matching and that the code for this blue matches the code for this blue and it's the same on the flyers as it is on the website. And they go back and forth as to whether or not they should have a shiny finish or a matte finish on their flyers and their business cards. And you're wasting time. Now, you might have the best intentions, and trust me, I understand you want to start with your best foot forward, but there's a quote, and I think it's from the software industry, but it's something to the effect of, if your first attempt doesn't embarrass you, you waited too long. Meaning you waited for that product, that business model, whatever, to be perfect, and in the meantime, even though you launched with something that was perfect that you're proud of, you probably missed out on a lot of time that you could have been getting some reps in and getting some experience, which is really going to get you to success much faster. Because regardless of how perfect you think everything is, it's never going to be perfect. And really the aesthetics of your site, or the blue matching on the flyer and the website and the handouts and the t-shirts and the branding and all that jazz, that's not going to guarantee your success. So in this episode, I'm going to be discussing some quick and ugly ways to start a meal prep business. Now, this could literally get you started within a day. More realistically, a week. You should be able to start if you're really serious about getting some reps in, getting some momentum, getting some water flowing through the machine, and making sure that it's got, all the leaks are tightened up, or at least finding where the leaks are so you can figure out where you need to problem solve and patch and find some workarounds. This is something that you can follow to get the money coming in, get the reps in, get some momentum going, and build from there. Now, before we get started, yes, it has been a while since I've made any videos. It's been months. I've been very busy on some other side projects, so there might be some people who aren't familiar with who I am, what my channel's about. On this channel, I discuss starting and growing meal prep businesses, among other things that interest me, but I also have a site that is specifically dedicated to that kind of information, which is mealprepbiz101.com. What do I know about starting meal prep businesses? Well, I'm one of the founders of Florida's highest rated meal prep businesses. On my site and on my channel, I have a bunch of content. I also do one-on-one consulting. I've got a private group. I've got free ebooks. I've got boot camps. I've got software that will run your entire business. So I highly suggest you check out the links in the show notes. Make sure you're subscribed and check out mealprepbiz101.com if that's something that you're interested in. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's roll the intro and get into today's episode.
Welcome to our channel where we go behind the scenes for meal plan company Fit Food Fresh and other local businesses across South Florida. Make sure you hit the subscribe and alerts so you never miss a video, and hit us with any questions or suggestions.
All right, let's jump right into it. The first thing that you're going to want to be doing is focusing on generating leads. That means that my advice would be getting the word out as soon as possible. Any form of social media that you have, reach out to your friends, text people, let them know what you're doing. Set the expectation, externalize it, and get that information out. Maybe they're going to bump into somebody tomorrow who would be a perfect candidate for your program, or maybe has a company and they happen to be looking for a meal prep program just like yours. If they don't know about this until a week from now, they're going to miss that opportunity to talk to that person. So let everyone you know what you are doing so that you can start attracting leads, because leads become deals and deals equal money, volume, meals, whatever you want to call it, and that's your main focus. So start with an offensive mindset. Now, for taking down leads, a really easy way to start doing this is familiarize yourself with a software called Google Forms. And I'm going to have some links below. There's also some other videos on my channel that discuss using Google Forms in a few different ways, and it kind of goes over a lot of the different use cases that I've experienced, and gives you some ideas as to what other applications they'll have for you. But in this instance, let's walk through the scenario of you putting up a Facebook post. Now, you're going to put up a Facebook post and say, hey, this is what I'm doing. Reach out to me if you're interested. No. Better yet, create a Facebook post or whatever social media post that you want and embed a link that goes to a Google form where people can put down their contact information. You're going to want to get their email. You're going to want to get their cell phone. That way, you're going to be able to, obviously with their name as well, their address, that would be helpful, but both of those methods of contact, that way you can text them and email them. The address would be nice to know, so you can know that this isn't a friend's friend who lives in another state that you're not going to be able to deliver to, right? And then obviously the name, I think that's self-explanatory. You're going to want to know who that person is. But with that Google form, you'll be able to easily collect that information without a lot of friction. You're not going to be getting one-off DMs and someone who's going to be like, oh, I'll take care of it later, or I'll get their email and I'll email them later. No, reduce the amount of friction between them and what you want them to do to make it easy for them to click on a link, fill out some information, put it into that Google form, which just you create the fields, what information you want them to fill out. You can make it required if you want, so they can't make a submission unless they fill out certain fields. That's up to you. And a lot of times you'll want to entice them with a special offer. Now, if you're just starting off, you can say that they're getting a special discount, inflate your price a little bit. That way you can work it down and it's still profitable. You can offer to lock them in at that price since they're, foundational members, and people like being a part of your story. So I would really try to maybe put a little bit into the post as to what your passion is without making it too long. You want to tell them what you're doing, why you're doing it, and how they can be involved, and also make them feel appreciated for being a part of helping manifest your dream and bringing it to fruition.
Are you looking for an ordering system that will automate the menial but crucial tasks that help your meal prep grow and to help you capture more profit? Then head on over to mealprepbiz101.com to learn more about the most advanced piece of software that this industry has ever seen. It can seamlessly integrate with your existing website or provide a turnkey e-commerce solution if you don't already have one. Automate everything from taking orders to marketing to customer service, and it's all under one roof. You can literally be live within a day and avoid all of the time, the headache, and the expense associated with other solutions. The best part is there's no monthly subscription and there's no annual fee. To learn more, head on over to mealprepbiz101.com.
Now, Google Forms is also going to be very useful for you when you want to start taking orders, because just like it's important and pretty crucial for you to get the lead contact information in a digital form, handwriting is sometimes hard to read. Getting it in that Google form will put it in a nice spreadsheet, so you'd be able to load it into a CRM or a text manager or an email management system or anything like that. Same goes for collecting orders. You're not going to be wanting to get orders via text and email because you're going to have to then replicate them somewhere else, and people might be using shorthand in the email, or you just don't want to go through that. Different formats come through. Trust me, we've been there. We did that in the early days, and it's a headache. I know a lot of meal preps that start off that way just because they're not familiar with Google Forms. And now Google Forms, just to touch on that, that's part of Google Suite, which is now called like Google Workspace or something. There's going to be a link to that below. I think it's like $6 or $8 a month. It's super cheap, and it gives you access to a plethora of different Google applications that are going to be the equivalent of not only stuff that would replace Microsoft Office stuff, so Excel and PowerPoint and Word and all that. Google has an equivalent to that that's cloud-based, which is great because you can access it from anywhere. But above and beyond that, you're going to have Google Forms, which allows you to create contact forms like I just mentioned, order forms, which I'll get into in a second, surveys, which are going to be not only useful later on, but also if you're maybe brainstorming some ideas and you want to get some polls of what type of food or menu categories you're going to be offering, it might be good to use Google Forms for that as well. Plus a whole host of other applications and pieces of software that are going to be invaluable when you're first starting off. And like I said, it's all cloud-based, so that makes it very easy for you to access from anywhere within an internet connection, whether it's your cell phone or your laptop, or you could be out of town. As long as you can get to a library and get to a computer with some internet access, you'll be able to access this cloud. So something getting destroyed or not being around is no longer an excuse that could potentially jeopardize you doing what you need to do to keep your business flowing.
I know the meal prep business can be a beast, especially when you're trying to navigate it alone. That's why I've created the Meal Prep Mafia, a private group dedicated to other meal prep entrepreneurs who want to learn, share, and grow together. We've got entrepreneurs from a myriad of different backgrounds with a ton of experience and perspectives that you're able to tap into and learn from. I'm sure you've got questions of your own, but sometimes the most valuable question is the one you haven't even thought of yet. Sign up for the monthly membership and access this brain trust of fellow preppreneurs and see that we can cover more ground faster together. I guarantee it's going to be the best investment that you've made in yourself and your business so far. Sign up at mealprepbiz101.com and I will see you in the Mafia.
Now, as I mentioned, you can also use Google Forms to create a menu where you put the items in, whatever description you want to have. If you have pictures of meals, great. If not, don't let that slow you down. Put the descriptions in there. People don't necessarily need to see pictures of the food, and then you can have them fill out that menu form and submit a order with how many of each item they want to have. Now, as I mentioned before, you can also use Google Forms to take your orders digitally, so you won't have to take them through text and email. And what you'd simply do is take your menu, make a bunch of different categories, and instead of those being questions that people would answer, it would be the meal, maybe the meal description, even a picture if you want, but you don't have to have the pictures, and I don't want you to slow down and wait for the pictures and all the food to be made, because that's going to be more time that you're wasting. Just the meal title, the description, and then you can have a drop down or a number field where people put in how many of each item they want. Then they submit that form. Obviously, you're going to want to be taking their email and their name and maybe contact information in case you don't have it already. So you can have the order match up with who they are, how you're going to contact them, maybe a delivery address as well. And that way, again, the importance of having that digital form, this gets it all done for you. So you don't have things coming through email, text, and messenger pigeon and handwritten notes or anything like that. Then from there, if you want some bonus points, I also have an order system that I've created on a spreadsheet. It's on Google Sheets, which is another piece of software that you're going to be able to get through the Google Workspace outfit. Again, $8 a month. There's way too much software for you to turn that down for $8. If you're not serious enough to invest $8 in the business, stop watching the video now. The order system that I've created, completely free, give it to you. It'll probably be in the link below, or if you sign up on my site, mealprepbiz101.com, it will send out a copy so you can make your own copy. And basically, I've also got some videos that will walk you through how to use it. But basically, you'll be able to put those orders in. So now you've got a production list. It'll help you track credits, so you know who's got what balance, who you need to bill, maybe who you need to refund, as well as create packing tickets. So now once the meals are made, you know what meals go to what person, and then you can get them off to where they need to be delivered or whatever pickup location you're working with. I affectionately refer to this order system as the Beast 6 because it's basically the sixth version of this massive spreadsheet with all these cross formulations and calculations and everything, but it does automate a lot of the process. There's still the manual input part of it, but trust me, it's way better than just working off a bare bones spreadsheet and trying to keep track of everything. It does the tallies for you, as I mentioned before, helping you keep track of billing and credits and all that other jazz will make it a lot easier. Now, as you evolve, we can get into more complicated and more sophisticated, I should say, systems where you're either using a CRM, or I also have a big boy software program that you can have access to. This is also free to you, and that's going to be requiring a bit more data input, so that might not be something that you want to start off with your first week, because you're going to want to make sure you've got some reps in and you have a more extensive menu. It is something that you could start off with if you want. Again, it's free to you, but if you really want to just hit the ground running and operate under the done is better than perfect kind of mentality, I would suggest just starting off with what I'm describing here, and then you graduate to that later on. Now, as far as collecting payment, because obviously that's going to be a very important part, you're going to want to collect the payment before you even purchase the ingredients, which is one of the beautiful reasons as to why this business works. But you can use Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Stripe. There's a myriad of different payment options you can use. Venmo and Cash App are going to be free, but that's a little bit less professional. It's decent to start off with when you have a close circle of friends and people who know you when you start off, but eventually you're going to want to get into something like Stripe or PayPal and eventually get on a real merchant processing system that will be able to send them a bill and handle subscriptions and more sophisticated transactional things, give you reports and all that. But starting off with Venmo or Cash App is the route that a lot of companies have done, and a lot of people fortunately are very familiar with those apps and already have them on their phone. Now, if you do feel the pressure of having something for people to look at, you want to have some pictures of food, you can take pictures of your own food and go through purchasing and cooking and all that jazz. But you could also just go onto Instagram and borrow some pictures from some other people who are already doing meal prep. Look for hashtags like meal prep and meal prep company, meal prep service, or something like that. Obviously, you're not going to want to be taking pictures that are too professional or show thousands and thousands of meals when your friends and family know you're just doing the production from home. But it allows you to get an idea as to what your food is going to look like, even if it's not the exact meals. It gives the potential customer an idea as to what the product is. A lot of people might be confused as to whether or not it's coming in a box of just raw ingredients that they're going to have to cook. So having a picture of a plated meal in a container, they're going to say, okay, now I get it. This is already cooked. I just throw it in the microwave. And it adds a little bit more credibility. I, again, wouldn't want you to hold off waiting for pictures. So this is a route for you to, again, get started today without having to go through, a shopping trip and production, just to schedule, a photo shoot and all that jazz. Again, done is better than perfect. Ugly and quick and done today is better than waiting 6 months to have it perfect before you get any reps in and start your business off.
Now for a quick word from our sponsor, mealprepbiz101.com. Regardless of where you're at along your meal prep journey, I've got content, tools, and resources that'll make your efforts easier and your endeavors more successful. If you're just starting out or maybe doing some research, I suggest you start with the free Beginner's Bootcamp. That'll come with a free ebook, an order tracking system, and tell you everything that you need to know in order to get started. If you've already started and you're looking to grow, maybe you want to book a one-on-one consultation with yours truly. I also have a private group, the Meal Prep Mafia, dedicated to meal prep entrepreneurs who are looking to share, grow, and learn together. Don't forget about the most amazing software that this industry has ever seen. It will practically run your entire business for you. And oh, did I forget to mention it's free? Check out all that and more at mealprepbiz101.com.
Now, as you start getting these leads, before you get to having a CRM, you can use MailChimp, which has a free version, which will allow you to blast out emails. So you're not sending out one-off emails. I would also warn you against putting a bunch of emails in one, like going into your Gmail and putting a bunch of emails in the sent or CC or BCC, because that will probably get you flagged for spam, and it will not only put a lot of your stuff in a spam box, but it's really going to result in your target not receiving the email that you want them to have. So you get MailChimp, you go through the right parameters, and you upload your list that you've been collecting from your leads. You just constantly add to that, and then you can blast out your weekly menus with the link that goes to the Google form that we mentioned before, any kind of updates, deadline reminders, any of that jazz, as well as texting. That would be something that I would also recommend, but you can get into that. Those are probably going to be paid services. I don't know of any free texting services, but the email package through MailChimp does start off free as long as you have like less than 1,000 contacts, which I'm sure most of you are going to have less than 1,000 contacts when you first start off. So again, these are some pretty simple, cheap, and free ways for you to start immediately. So I just removed a lot of your excuses. Again, Google Forms, Google Suite, Google Workspace, or whatever, that entire outfit, again, 6, 8, 12 bucks a month, let's call it. I think it's like $6 or $8 a month for the smaller package. Gives you access to all that stuff. MailChimp is going to be free. Venmo, Cash App, that doesn't cost you anything to set up. Then I've got the free order system for you. So again, no excuse. And you will now be able to invest more of your time and effort into starting and growing and learning about your business, because I assure you, no matter how great you think you have it planned out in your business plan and drawn out on your whiteboard, there's always going to be stuff that you didn't anticipate that's going to take longer, be harder, or not work as you expect. So getting in there and getting those reps in is really going to be the best way to learn and get you closer to success. Now, I also have a boot camp, 100% free. It's the Beginner's Boot Camp, and it basically walks you through how to start a meal prep business with just $500. And honestly, you could probably get it started without spending anywhere near that, as I just exemplified today. You can check that out on mealprepbiz101.com. I also, when you need it, offer one-on-one consulting, as I mentioned, that more advanced level of software that you can graduate into. That's also 100% free. There's no monthly fee. There's a one-time setup fee, but aside from that, there's no monthly fee or anything else like that you're going to have to worry about. I've got free ebooks. I've got other boot camps. I've, of course, got hundreds of videos on my YouTube. Don't forget the private group where you can get access to other meal prep entrepreneurs. There's going to be links to all this stuff below, but also on mealprepbiz101.com. I've basically done all I can to remove every single excuse you have between you and success in the meal prep industry. So now it's all going to fall on you. What are you going to do with this information? Until next time, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you've subscribed, like the video, check out mealprepbiz101.com. The link's in the show notes below. I look forward to helping you grow as a business, as an entrepreneur, and as an individual.